All right, everyone. This is your host, Paul Gaither. This is Madden NFL 2003 on my original Xbox. Glad to have you here. Latest update today. I have continued to address the rosters. Still far away from being anywhere close to perfect. However, because last night's live stream we were using the Texans, and I'm very inspired to use the Texans, just as I did on the original GameCube when I bought Madden 2003 and played with my buddy. It's a really good team to try and use, especially considering their history of taking a long time to be any good. And we've basically having things like naming Ramon Walker as well as other defensive players, making various adjustments. And I feel that there's probably still more. There are players that we need to add or whatever decisions that we need to make. However, things like naming Fred Weary have happened. Chester Pitts has been named. Adjusting the depth chart so we don't have to do it over and over and over and over again. Not that I'm benching David Carr, but one of the approaches that I'm considering is taking 6-year pro, former starter, at least specifically for the Rams, which I think is still like the picture he's got because he played for like Cowboys in Washington, and that doesn't look like a Cowboys or Washington jersey, so it looks like they literally have a picture from like 1999 or something, because I think he was like a backup practice squad with the Ravens, and then he was like with the Cowboys in Washington. And none of those look like it. That yellow looks like a Rams yellow. That looks like 1996, 97, 98 or whatever. So even the picture is out of date. Be that as it may, we might be asking the veteran to come in and get snaps and get sacks behind this trash offensive line. The awareness is 3 points lower than our rookie quarterback. The throwing power is, 4 points lower, and the accuracy is significantly lower. But the idea of having the veteran in the room, taking snaps, taking sacks, that seems to be the theme with even the default roster that they're looking for. Is Pitts is actually the better player, but McKinney gets the start. And then Graham gets the start. He was 1 point overall higher than the rookie Fred Weary. But asking the young offensive lineman to come in and learn, maybe even taking over a position later in the season, but at least having the young offensive lineman potentially mature and develop while we have veteran players up front doing something, playing veteran football. So, along with that, there were other additional changes to the rosters. I ended up going in and messing with the Eagles roster. And part of the reason is going into free agents and looking at who was available. I wanted to continue to put together a correct roster, and one of the players that stuck out to me was Michael Sinclair. And I couldn't put him on the roster because the Eagles roster was full, and I had to make changes, and then suddenly I started noticing all kinds of other things. We had to name Sheldon Brown, which makes me want to talk about Sheldon Brown for a little bit. So, Troy Vincent, is he still in charge of like the players union or whatever? I don't know. And Bobby Taylor, just excellent players, 90 and 92 overall. Al Harris is a player that I've mentioned, not specifically his name, but players I've mentioned that I feel need to have ratings adjustments because Al Harris ends up becoming like one of the league's best corners for several years with the Packers. I'm not saying the number one because you've got Woodson and other players, but Al Harris is considered one of the better corners in the league during his time. And then they also got Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown as rookie draft picks, who also later become like 80-plus overall starters for the Eagles. Like, they're just loaded in the secondary room. And then, obviously, the Wolverine Brian Dawkins, but also they drafted rookie Michael Lewis. While they already have Blaine Bishop as a solid player, Michael Lewis would end up becoming like an 86, 88 overall, whatever player, something like that in Madden games. But again, maybe overrated, maybe the ratings are inflated, whatever, I don't know. He ended up going to the 49ers, and I liked him there. But yeah, Michael Lewis, Lito Shepherd, and Sheldon Brown in the draft picks for the Eagles. So that is very interesting. And I just continued to mess with the various aspects of the roster, the depth chart, naming players. Scott Peters had to be named. There were a few little things that we had to make some changes with the running back room. Brian Westbrook is someone that needs to be modified, specifically his awareness rating. Like, he could use a boost. His catch rating is actually the highest in the room. So that's also, like, that's something that makes a lot of sense. I just want to check out right now. Yeah, I would put Brian Westbrook's catch rating much closer to his contemporaries. Like, maybe not as high as Folk, but I would say he belongs, like, in this 82, 83, 84 range, whatever. Westbrook is famous for being a receiving back out of the backfield. So I would say his 69 catch leading the team at the running back position is still significantly lower than it should be, and the awareness rating is lower. But again, we're not messing with ratings at this time. We're just kind of taking note of individual players and stuff as we go through. And in the process of having to do that, I also had to mess with the Dallas Cowboys, specifically because players moving from team and so on and so forth, and like, oh, this tight end and that guy went to the Bengals, and the Bengals got rid of their wide receiver who went to this team, and this guy went to that team, and all that. When you start looking at like the jersey numbers and everything, and so I had to make adjustments, and I also had to name Derek Ross here. Had to make a few more changes, like cut some players who were no longer on the team. They were in the 2001 roster, but they didn't make the 2002 team. Marquise McFadden, had to give him. So I don't know how it went about, like injuries, reserve, I don't know. But McFadden wore 79 according to the Pro Football Reference and all of that in that eater. But also apparently so did Dorsey, and two players can't wear the same number in the same year, so obviously one must have been on the active roster and the other not. And so Dorsey ends up wearing 66 with like the Giants or some other team like the next year or whatever. So I just put him in the number that he ends up wearing for the rest of his career anyway, and McFadden wearing his number that he ends up wearing. So that's how I resolved that. Yeah. Darnay Scott, he is a Bengal because I think like one of the tight ends ended up going to the Bengals, and then I signed that tight end to the Bengals, but then he had the wrong number, and then I found the guy that was wearing that number was Scott, and I found that Scott was on the Cowboys, but then the Cowboys couldn't sign him because they had Rocket Ishmael, and Rocket Ishmael didn't play in this season. Rocket Ishmael's last year was 2001, and there's just like thing after thing after thing that we had to make changes to. So, but that's also kind of the point of this whole thing, is trying to get the rosters more correct. And then Antonio Bryant wore number 88. And my understanding is the Cowboys kind of reserve that for their number one wide receivers. And so Galloway, there's no reason not to put him at number 2. We could put Antonio Bryant at the X position and Galloway there, and then have Scott here, because whether it be number 1, number 2, or number 2, number 1 doesn't really matter. But asking Bryant to be the X receiver and then Galloway to be the Z, to me, is no problem whatsoever. And it makes sense to have him at that number. So there are many changes that I have had to make, and I've done that all off camera, off screen, and just kind of giving you the summary here. So I hope that's interesting, and I hope that gets you updated. The next phase of what's going on is I have created a profile called Texans, because I do not want to change my active profile of, like, I haven't named it, but like my regular normal active profile. So why have I called it the Texans and all of that? One big reason is because I want to have something where we set up the 4-3 defense. So that takes me to the next point I want to show. I've gone into the rosters, and we go into the Texans, and we go into the depth chart. So again, I could put David Carr in and feed him to the Wolves, but I kind of like an alternate path where we let him hold a clipboard. In the same way that Donovan McNabb was asked by Andy Reid to hold a clipboard in year number 1, is stay the course, let the kid learn, let him not get beat up and have a different path, and let the veteran take the shots or whatever, let the 2 veterans take the shots and control the quarterback room and go through the tough lumps and develop things. Also, like Jonathan Wells, I believe ends up developing into a decent running back. for the team as well, while we have Allen as the starter and everything. And so you saw me last night, if you were watching this channel. We went through and we were trying to make it a 4-3 defense, like play 3-4 style out of a 4-3 defense because of the playbooks that Madden has. And so with that, part of the goal is and was to make those changes at this time. So let's do that right now. That's one thing that I definitely left off at this point in time. So, right outside linebacker Posey means we want him. Left outside linebacker Wong, yes. Which one did we want again? We wanted, they both have really similar strengths. Was Posey the middle linebacker? Foreman is the guy we wanted at the other position, correct? So, I thought there's some pretty good speed here at this linebacker position. That's what also makes it interesting, if we're going to really take it serious. Like, what are we comparing here? I guess we should start figuring that out now. There's a few different perspectives here. The default is saying these are 2 middle linebackers, right? 3 years pro, 8 years pro with Alan Aldridge. So I think Alan is going to be our starter. He's 3 points faster, but that's not the only reason. He's a little bit weaker. He's got a little bit less awareness. He has less agility, more stamina, less acceleration, equal tackle rating. We don't need to necessarily just go with the 8-year pro versus the 3-year pro, but it's something that I'm definitely thinking about. So let's go to have Aldridge as our right outside linebacker. Let's, instead of Posey or anyone, let's say Aldridge. And let's just imagine Greg Jones stays there for the time being. So what's Greg Jones's information? He's 67 strength, 61 speed, right? So Foreman is faster. Well, let's also look at the body type. 6'4", 238. Yeah, he's a bigger body guy, right? Yeah, Posey and Jones are bigger body guys, right? 6'4", 240, 6'4", 238. And then the tackle rating is 72 and 75. That's interesting as well. So, what? If we go depth chart, and we say left end, behind Wong is also a left outside linebacker, which will be Posey, right? And Posey. And then there's Issa. Now, I know the point of Issa is that he has 80 strength, right? That's the point. We're still at least going to hold this here for the moment. We're going to go to the right end. After Wong and Sharper, right? Posey. Jones. And again, go with Jones. And then if we also said Posey. Posey is supposed to be a 61 overall here. And Jones is a 54 at defensive end. But they're the same at linebacker. So that tells me Posey is the guy that should be playing, right? Even the game feels that that's the truth. So let's put Posey in. Let's put Posey in. And let's put Jones as his backup, as like an edge player. Right? And if that's the case, we can have Sears or whoever be that end. And at defensive tackle, obviously we want Gary Walker. Gary Walker. Right? We want that position. Now, Gary Walker's an 80 overall. One of the things that I'm thinking, just thinking out loud here, is the left end being Walker. Issa being the defensive tackle. Where does Issa fit in all of this? 50 overall. 80 strength. Right, 50 overall. he drops some overall. He doesn't actually get better like some players do. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Because obviously when we were playing online last night, we had Gary Walker be on the right-hand side. We could have him be our left end. If we're going to kick the line to the side, we could easily have Walker there. Now I think keeping Sears. Yeah. Right end like that. Defensive tackle. Okay. So the point is Wong is still starting. Aldridge is going to be the other starter. If Posey is playing on the line, then he shouldn't be the backup. And Foreman should have a position out here. And Foreman is competing for a spot. So we can have Foreman and Aldridge battling it out for that position. What's up, Jason? Good to have you here, buddy. Glad to have patience with people here. So I think this is what we're going to do. At least we're going to see it in the moment. And we're going to save the roster as is right now. And we're going to see if it works out the way we want it to. And as I was saying, we're going to go to game modes. And we're going to take a look at Texans, Colts. And the other point here was to mess with the offensive playbook. So looking forward to continuing your Panthers franchise in a bit. That's going to be good. So, Jason, I am going to go so far as to click on your information. Let's go to here, Jason PDSI. Let's go search. Let's click on that just to get it quickly. And with that, we're going to find, yep, we've got your channel, right? And then we're going to go to, now Jason, it says, just shows videos and shorts. Do you have, like, live stuff? Are you going to put your stuff up live? Because, like, Patrick C. put his stuff up on live. All right, well, it would be really great if you ever take the time, because I see that you have 4 months ago a crazy finish to a game. If you ever put stuff up, Jason, I would be more than happy to subscribe and support you as well. So, just putting that out there. Growing the old school community. So with that in mind, we did not like Houston as their playbook. Now, in a practice setting, I might take a closer look at it. But if you do change your mind, Jason, keep me informed, because I will always support you guys. Single back normal. I didn't like this playbook live in the moment without a practice mode. And one of the things that I don't like it right off the bat are all the in-breaking routes. Like, heavily in-breaking routes. Some of the formations, some of the designs. So, cross-up here is a play that I think is fine. Let's put them in a nickel and a man lock. Comment says, I feel like I would want to do a YouTube channel correctly, and I'm not currently in a position where I can get the equipment for a proper channel. Okay, so here's the thing, Jason. I don't know if you're emulating. I don't know if you're using original equipment. Here in Peru, obviously, is going to be different than the United States. I'm told Facebook Marketplace isn't necessarily the best in the USA, like with scammers and all of that. But here in Peru, like, Facebook Marketplace is a really great way to buy and sell things. And regardless of where you go to, I just basically found like a component cable to HDMI conversion device, because I use the component cables on my original Xbox. So that HDMI will just go straight to my TV. But there was also a very inexpensive HDMI video game capture device that I got it doesn't even have like a brand name on it. It just says 4K Ultra HDMI video capture, like in and out. It's just like this little like rectangle device. It just, you plug the HDMI in and it has HDMI out, and then it's got a little USB port thing that plugs into the side of my laptop. And I downloaded OSB to manage this. It picks up the USB device of the video capture device. It receives the HDMI from, like, so Xbox goes to component cables go to HDMI, which goes into the video capture device, which goes into my computer, and then that video capture device splits back out to HDMI to my TV, and OBS in between just intercepts that signal, and I press like record, and that's all I'm doing. And it might sound like a lot of steps, but it's so easy. It's like literally a free program, and then like the little connectors, adapters, whatever for the cables were very inexpensive, very budget friendly, so it can be done, man. And then, yeah, you said you're using consoles. So, yeah, like, if you're, whatever console you're using, there should be HDMI ports. So, that's a recommendation. As far as the microphone goes, I just got USB condenser microphone. So, one of the other things is, specifically because I'm using a laptop instead of a dedicated desktop, which I might someday end up buying a dedicated desktop, is, you know, there's only like 2 USB ports on here. So I actually have one of these, I can't even think of the name right now, but like a kind of fan tray thing, like cooler thing for a laptop. Not that my thing is for cooling the laptop, but what it is it actually has a bunch of USB ports on the back of it. So I plug in the cooler pad thing into one slot, and I have like my mouse, my USB condenser microphone, I have my other things plugged into that little device, the little stand with the fan cooler. And the second USB port specifically has my HDMI cables and stuff for my video capture device. As just a solid hookup. So everything else, like my mouse, my microphone, whatever, is like coming out from basically a dongle of sorts. And it's all just very basic, very simple, and I think we get some good quality out of it. And he said you'll get with me later and go over this information again. Appreciate it. But on a side note, what are you doing to improve? Bro, living the life, man. Wife, job, family, everything, man. So, just enjoying it. Enjoying what I can. But also me talking about this in the setup, like people are like, I want to watch you play Madden. It's just like, hey, here's my setup, bro. It was intimidating to me too. And I looked into it, and I just found the quickest, cheapest, easiest thing, and that was, what, 2022-ish or so that I started putting up the videos? And here we are. So, that's what it is. Getting back on track, I like this play. You've got a mesh concept here with Lewis and Miller. We got Gaffney on what I would kind of consider a bit of a money play, though it's not guaranteed. And we're stretching the defense deep with Bradford. That's not who we're really trying to read. So we're going to drop back. We're going to read. Now, we know the play because we called the defensive play here. But we're trying to attack, like, get Gaffney the ball, and then we have drags underneath. So we're looking deep to short, and we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And obviously, okay, well, I guess that works too. We just go 1. Wow, it's sliding. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, hitch step, and then I just fired it on time. Now, the correct throw is here. No one's covering him. But I was just going through the physical motion of the drop back. So again, yeah, just that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Click, hitch step, and then throw button. Right? Getting a hang of that, so you can do it without looking at your quarterback. Just the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hitch step, and then press a button. I counted out myself. Like, I can count in my head, but it's just, it feels good. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, I don't have to look at his feet when I'm counting that. I'm not physically, like, my eyeballs on the screen looking at his feet. I've gotten so accustomed to the rhythm, the cadence of me saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, 1, 2, 3, step, X. My own cadence of 1, 2, 3, step, X. Like, I just talk that out to myself while my eyes are, like, on safeties and all that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, B. Don't really care if it's complete or not. Let's see how it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then like the little hitch or plant step and B. So I just know my own personal cadence of how to count out the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like just mentally in my head while I'm just physically dropping back and making a read. So I'm not having to stare at the feet. I hope all that makes sense. So I go through that whole process. And this is what I would assume could be a 7-step drop or a 5 with a hitch. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitch. And one of the issues we run into is just him physically running into a defender. And there's not like an illegal contact downfield or whatever. If we go 7 steps, we might give him a chance to break away and get a better throw. It might be a 7-stepper. That's also one of the beauties of practice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Throw the ball. And it's out of bounds. That was interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was not on time. And then it's all messed up because I went to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's a hit and pick. Okay, great. I'm not sure I like it as a 5-stepper. 1, 2, 3. Or sorry, as a 7-stepper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and throw. He's kind of getting open, like, but we're getting hit and all of that. So let's do 5 in the hitch for the timing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitch step. Yeah, that feels better. 5 in a hitch instead of 7 straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hitch. And again, it's not perfect, right? Like as we get to that 4 or 5, we kind of have this like little choppiness here, right? My timing wasn't as smooth and perfect as I want it to be, and it happens, and several times, obviously because it's a mesh concept. This is probably the receiver that we end up wanting to go to, based on the read. Now again, we know what the play is. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitch step, get him the ball, right? Yeah, SD Chargers 93. Like, goddamn, Tony Banks. I haven't seen that name in a long time. Yeah, and you know he was like a backup quarterback for them for like 3 seasons, if I remember correctly. So I was just thinking, and if you missed it at the beginning, SD Chargers fan is like, I'm thinking about having the veteran come in and take the lumps, and just letting Carr be a clipboard holder at least for year number 1, as a rookie and get accustomed to the feel of the NFL across the board for the entire team. So we're just looking at it. And then we've also got Patrick C in here. We got the whole crew in here, bro. Haven't noticed X was constantly the most open player. Yeah, you have noticed he's the most open. Yeah, exactly. And you can see, like, in terms of, like, coaching-wise, there's many things that I'm just trying to perform. Like, I'm trying to just force it to be? Am I trying to force it to a specific player or whatever? In man coverage, that's the whole point of mesh, is to have this happen. But what kind of sucks is they're hitting each other instead of forcing the defenders to run into each other. So if again we're reading 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get the hitch, and then they run into each other over and over now. Like before they were kind of getting open, and now they're clunking and like getting super messed up. So you can't just automatically assume it's going to work there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hit, and wow, they're super running into each other, aren't they? And wow, this was a mess too, right off the line. Click, 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 clack, 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 clickety clack. Bang, clack, bang, and then just like it's all over. It's kind of crazy, right? Okay. So, I said that the Houston playbook is cheeks. And I still think that's very valid. Doesn't mean they don't have good plays completely, but cross up is definitely one of the good plays that they have. But the double hooks, less impressive to me. And again, because everything is breaking back inside, including the hooks themselves, instead of being outside breaking hooks, right? Now, the next layer, when I'm practicing and just kind of looking at a playbook, is there a potential in this setup? Gaffney is up on the line of scrimmage, which means Lewis is naturally the one to motion around. So that suddenly takes us into a 3-by-1. Is there any advantage to doing that with this player? We're asking Lewis and Bradford to be so close to each other that I would say no. There's no real advantage to asking them to do that route. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're just kind of creating a cluster of bodies, whether they're in man or in zone. I still prefer when a hook breaks out like this, And especially from this position, instead of breaking inside like this, I would prefer they break outside like this. We could even lead it to the right. Boom. And they can catch it. They can come back, catch it, and then turn upfield to the sidelines. I don't like the in-breaking ones, but we're going to force it to Bradford. 3, 4, 5. They just don't have as much potential here. And then they also start to sometimes literally turn into the defender and get like bumped and messed up. And there's all kinds of issues that I don't like with that inside break. And then, as I said, with the pass lead, I intentionally led inside. Like if I press pass lead left, see how he jumps inside? At least he's using his body to protect against the defenders, like to wall it off. But, like, there's no real advantage even when you land. Like, you're just landing into traffic. Whereas if you bend out, you can catch it. You have like an escape route. And then SD Chargers fan says, you know what's crazy? How I misremember the Bears organization is? Same with Green Bay. They both should have more Super Bowls. Yeah, that's a whole conversation we can get to in just a moment. I'm going to keep reading. And AA Ron, yes, with the Steelers. Once he is retired, you're done watching current day NFL football. Okay, interesting. And then Retro Rewind says hello. We got the whole crew coming up in here. Let's go. Jason's probably taken off to go play his franchise, which I completely support. Patrick's up in here. SD Chargers up here. Retro's in here. We're missing some Denny Lee. We're missing a few other people. You know, Orochi used to be here back in the day. Don't imagine. I mean, I know why he's probably gone. Michael hasn't been here in a while. There's a few other people that are classic. But like when I say the whole crew is here, it's like, yeah, I love seeing the crew in here. So yeah, already right off the bat, double hook. Not a big fan of what's going on there. SE split in quick hit. SE quick hit. I was messing with this a little bit last night. So if you watched all the way to the end last night, I mentioned how I don't really like using Bradford here as a breaking route to the strength of my quarterback's hand. What I prefer is instead flipping it, which would be SE quick hit here, and then having it out breaking away like that. So it's not that it's an inherently bad play, but I feel it's a play that we definitely are setting ourselves up. Come on, where's the... Oh, it's that trigger. Where we're on the left hash mark, 2 receivers to the field. Could be a thing. You know what I'm thinking here? Potentially. We've got Bradford like this. Double outs. Double off ball. Gaffney on the numbers. Tight end, 3x1 to the boundary. 1, 2, 3. It goes off his helmet. I'm thinking that that could be the purpose of this formation. That could be a functional purpose. I like him at the numbers. We've got double outs, and I don't know how good that will be. But that's interesting. And then, you ever think about starting up a Discord? Okay, backing up here. It says, what music do you like? Says Retro Rewind Sports. I like classic rock stuff. And so, when I look for online, like, royalty-free music, I just find any kind of classic retro rock music as a background. And then it says, is your read on this if the DB flips his hips, their hips upfield? Yeah, so we're going to talk about that then. So part of it is just listening to what Bill Walsh has to say. And I'll answer that question here as we set this up. And I can't just call like a random play, but let's call cover 2 zone, for example. And send our guy in motion. No. Okay, I got all that messed up. Where's the reset the play button? Black button? No. White button? Yes, white button. Okay. Send him in motion. Perfect. So now it's zone. Got it. You're asking what our reads are. if I'm doing a quick out, which is what I was just specifically talking about, Coach Walsh first mentioned that you do not want your quick out to be to the handedness of the quarterback. So let's actually first discuss that as part of the question, which is Bradford here. Let's go 1, 2, 3. And wow, I mean, he gets jammed, so it like defeats the purpose right there. But like, you're a right-handed quarterback looking to the right. You don't want the quick out to be there because corners can jump that. So let's give them a man look instead to show that off a little bit better. Let's do quick hit. Let's do man lock. Let's do 1, 2, 3, plant, throw. I don't care the fact that we got the catch. The idea is Walsh doesn't want you like literally staring down this corner, and his ability as a corner to have his left eye or whatever on the receiver and the right eye, if you will, like the peripheral vision, if you will, and the footwork, seeing you throwing this, because a real corner shouldn't be doing this, right? He should have better footwork. Not everyone's Champ Bailey, but he should have better footwork. And as a result, he should be able to read this, cut it off, even bait you into it, and then take it to the house. So Walsh is like, don't even do that. Like, just avoid doing that in the first place, if that makes any sense. So now we're getting to that next part here. Here. With our eyes, as a quarterback, constantly what I try to teach on my channel is we want to read the safeties. We want to read, are they high, low, are they showing pre-snap 2, are they showing pre-snap 1, are they showing pre-snap 4, whatever. There's all kinds of identifiers that you want coming out of the huddle. And as you drop back, you're reading their footwork and their body language to see like if they V-split, if they straight drop back split, if they rotate their shell, what they're doing. Those two safeties tell you a lot of information. Not the least of which says if they're coming out here in a nickel defense, 3 corners, 2 safeties, and they're too high in the box, why are we even passing the ball? Okay? I know your question still was like, is the hips? And I'm sure Patrick is like, Paul, you're still not answering my question. I just want to know if it's the hips or not. But bro, I feel it's like a teaching moment. So here we are with H-back smash. And let's do this. Let's do whatever. Yeah, let's do that same smash. But let's have it flipped like that. And so one of the things that you might want to do is literally you come out of the huddle like this and you see nickel defense too high. They only have 6 on the line of scrimmage. Or not on the line of scrimmage, but in the box. The 4 down and the 2 linebackers. You got 5 linemen and a tight end. You should be able to block everyone and have no one left to tackle the running back. You should, in an ideal world, just go steal 4 or 5 yards. Why even throw the ball? If we can get half the yards we needed on first down and then make it 2nd and 5, if it's 2nd and 10 off an incompletion, why don't we make it 3rd and 5 instead of 3rd and 10 off an incompletion or a sack? Right? Just don't even bother. Like, don't even worry about the read and the no. Don't overthink it. They only have 6 up front and you got 6 to block. Just hand the fucking ball off. Right? Like, that's one of the points. So then we get to that next layer of this whole split in, quick out, whatever, is let's say they're showing us something different. They're going to show us that strong safety blitz play or whatever. Now they're creeping up into the box, at least to a degree. 41 is acting like another linebacker. Now they've got 7 kind of in the box, and however they're going to shift to try to defend the run and respect the run a little bit better. Now we're looking at a little bit different. And because of that, that's why I say we need to watch the safeties, because that safety creeping up in the box tells us there's a likelihood that he's going to drop into a zone or he's going to blitz or there's something that he's going to do. So let's not assume he's going to blitz, even though we know because I called it. Let's not assume he's going to blitz, and we're going to drop back and we're going to look. And what are we reading? Again, we're really reading the safety before I worry about any corners or hips. We see he's coming. He is bailing to the middle deep third. And him bailing like this means this corner likely has one of 2 roles, especially in Madden. He's either in cover 1 man or he's in cover 3 zone. Either way, he should bail. You should assume he's going to bail. You don't have to look at him right away. He should be bailing. Now, people can hot route and audible their players, and there might be more detailed plays in some playbooks, but he's most likely bailing deep or in cover 1 man. And in either case, this route just burns that kind of coverage. Like, just thematically, it should be a win. So you're like, we're not running. They're creeping up in the box. We take the snap, and as we're like on step 1, 2, 3 of this action, we should know, eyes like this, probably we have a winner over here. So as we're like hitting our 3-step drop, what we want to do in real life, and we can't make the quarterback do it, is he then turns his hips at 45 degrees, confirms what he sees, and at this point, like, literally sees the back of the corner. He's like, yep, I like what I see, and we're letting this thing go, and we're leading out to the left, and it's a nice, perfectly thrown ball outside and away for him to go and get, and we've got it. Does that make sense? I know it's a long answer, but it's like, well, do you read the hips of the corner of the... Like, I don't even really need to read the hips of the corner until I'm ready to release the football. Like, completely confirm it. Okay? So I'm reading safeties. I'm reading the way the safeties drop during my drop. And that tells me so much information about the play and the looks. So, that again, we see, look at these plays on defense. Too high, too high, too high. I'm going to run against these. 3 high, 2 high, like 3 high on the left, 1 high on the right, 2 high in the middle. The middle one, I'm going to run the football. What are the tells of the strong safety blitz? He creeps up into the box. Are there any tells to man under? He kind of tries to creep up in the box, doesn't he? And then the other tell, even if he stays exactly where he is, let's go 1, 2, 3. And we're in the end zone. Great. What is the tell? Like, as he comes up in the box, he continues to go in the box. He doesn't drop back. And more specifically, even if he's just straight backpedaling or otherwise covering the middle of the field. That's what you're seeing. Of course I knew the play because I called it. But those are the identifiers. That's what you're looking at, the free and strong safety. And they tell you a lot in those early steps. How they bail. I don't even need to look at the corners. And then here it's just kind of a confirmation. And he thinks he's going to pick 6 this. But leading left and getting a good read, and we're gone. 1, 2, 3, turn our hips and throw. And even when he makes the tackle, it's just 1, 2, 3, flip the hips, throw, lead left. He doesn't have a chance. So, SC Chargers Fans 93 says you ever think about starting the Discord, and I don't think any Retro Madden channels have a Discord. I'm on Discord, but I don't know, like, I just use it as a messenger for people. It's just another form of social media messaging. I don't know what value there is because I'm old man who yells at Cloud 40-year-old Millennium Boomer of, like, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't really belong to other Discords and use them. So if you guys wanted to start a Discord, I'm not against it. I don't know what else to do on it. I'm literally social media illiterate to the point of, like, I don't know if I would give it any value, if that makes any sense. I'm not against it. If you can teach me what I should be doing on it, that would be great. So yeah, let's continue here. Like, I'm not against it. I just don't know what I would do with it. So, split in quick hit. That's not going to be a normal regular play that we're going to be running. We're like literally, we're on the right hash mark, and then we flip it, and then we send a guy in motion or whatever. That's a thing. Okay. So we're still going back to the Texans playbook. So let's call the play. Let's call man lock. Let's put the ball maybe here in a more realistic position, which is to say we got the ball on a kick return or a touchback or whatever, and it's here. So, nothing against the play. It's a specialty formation. Double outs. So obviously can't complain about in breakers when you have in and out breakers. So solid play. I can go with that. We're not even talking about runs yet. Wide receiver drag. It's not exactly levels, but it has aspects of levels on the right-hand side. There's no smash concept off the left-hand side. There is basically another drag action and then that post corner action. So how much post action do we really have from the X receiver? Right? Just the X button, who's also the X receiver. How much post action do we have that we're really selling? We've got on the play action. And I don't think we have it anywhere else. We have it, oh, here we go. Slot clear out has one play. So if you're just trying to sell it in the post corner, I guess we can take a moment to look at how believable it might be to hit X before he breaks out to the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we can hit him. We're getting him hospital balled. But we can hit 5 steps, and you can connect on it before it even bends. He catches it, and then a safety destroys him. You do not want to throw a hospital ball in and get your guy cleaned like that. But the fact is you can complete it. So I'm wondering if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do I pump towards him? 3, 4, 5. And then I'm like, just a nice, solid, like, hitch step forward, lunge into it. We're really going to sell. Whoop! And then sold that. And then let him break out. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because it also needs to take time to break, right? I'm like clicking. It's not clicking. It's like you swing the right thumbstick to make him pump fake. So you don't get the same animation all the time. But after the pump fake, he resets, and now we're breaking out. And then we got sacked, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step. It also gets the defensive line to jump, as you see. As he threw our guy to the ground, he jumps, and then that buys the time to actually get rid of the ball, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm trying to get it to lead to the left. I know, like, there's other guys, like, coming wide open, but I'm just looking at that specific route and seeing what value we can get out of it. The next thing that it makes me think of is, again, that idea of putting a guy in motion. Right? Because Lewis is the off-ball player who's worth putting in motion. Is there any value here in kind of a Mills, but not exactly a Mills with Miller and Lewis combination? That little high-low? That little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, you're not really... Because I was like, okay, can we throw like this out route, this corner breaking route before he bends it back in? Because part of it, can we throw that corner, that money corner as a threat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we could. He just dropped it. So we're getting some corner action. Get set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hitch step, and he's getting jammed. I mean, there's still nothing wrong with just throwing the drag right here. Right? It's not that we have to go downfield and gun it. But this is also part of the fun, to me, of getting the little details. What if we flip the play? right? What if we're set up here? I don't like the way that that play breaks out in terms of going downfield. Like, it seems like the obvious is just, again, feeding the ball to Lewis here, right? We've got multiple plays where, like, we're just dragging with Lewis. Okay. I don't want to spend too much time on that play, because some of the obvious parts, like the quick out to L, the quick out to B, or, like, the drags, whatever, they're all fine. What else is here? The slot post is interesting. Set here. What if we tell Bradford to do a little action here? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not a terrible play, huh? Just kind of looking at the other breaks here. Interesting to say the least. And then there's just the other aspects of the run designs and so forth. So we get single back normal, single back big. Big twin, twin. Yeah, we only get one formation with the 3 wide receivers out of single back. Despite the fact that, and this is why we said like the playbook is not something we want, I really like having Bradford, Lewis, Gaffney, like having the 3 amigos as my targets. Right? Much better than having 2 tight end sets, having fullback sets, things of that nature. Because then we've got I formation, we've got a gun that I don't like, more 2 tight end sets, like fullback. There's just not a lot that I like there. So that now takes us full circle all the way back to, if we're not going to use the Texans playbook, what playbook do we want? And it would be kind of funny to choose the playbook of our rival, the Colts, right? And yet there's some value in at least looking at the Colts playbook, because they're a team that's known to like really spread it out, right? So they've got 3 wide, 2 tight end, 2 tight end, 2 tight end, 2 tight end. Okay, so they have the same problem. They've got gun, I normal, I strong, I weak, split backs. Okay, those are base formations. Split backs with no 3 wide receiver choice. No options here. No options here. No options here. Gun normal, 2 offset. So gun, normal, and offset. Okay. So, yeah. Now you say heresy. Yeah, but that's the point. Just clicking. This is not like a 2006 or whatever playbook, right? So, no. Just functionally, who would play 3 wide? Like, West Coast doesn't. What if we just go pass balanced? I form gun, single back, normal, 4 wide receivers. Okay. So that's livable. Split back with 3 receivers. Take even the tight end off the field. Okay. Twins and 3 wide receivers. Okay. 4 wide, 5 wide. There's draw, delay off tackle. There's no just like inside zone stuff. I mean, there wouldn't be, but it's not a lot of good running plays here. Gun 4 wide, draw, sweep, delay. 4 wide, draw, slash, pitch, off tackle. There's no counter action. There's just pretty much slash either direction, off tackle either direction. That's really all we have. Yeah. I'm listening for recommendations if you guys have any. Practice. I don't want to really do West Coast with this team, but it could be. Who else is worth looking at? I don't remember everyone's setup. But several of these wouldn't make sense. Have a comment, Patrick. It says, it's unfortunate you don't get access to the same playbook that I have in the PS1. Yes. 2 gun formations with running backs, halfback delay, and the halfback sweep. Yeah, that's why I was like, pass balanced had the delay and all of that. I'm always a fan of the Shanahans and all of that, like the West Coast offense stuff. So there's default West Coast, but there's also Mike Shanahan West Coast because he learned under Bill Walsh and all them with the Niners. He won the Super Bowl as the offensive coordinator of the Niners in '94. There's the Andy Reid, which comes from the Mike Holmgren, because Mike Holmgren was the offensive coordinator of the Niners like in '88 and '89 and all that stuff. And basically when Mike Holmgren stopped becoming the Niners offensive coordinator, he became the Packers coach. That's when Shanahan got moved up to the offensive coordinator, and then he got the head coaching job in Denver and all that. So there's like multiple trees, and Andy Reid was a coach under Mike Holmgren, and they have stuff, and Gruden was a coach with the Packers, and Mariucci was a coach with the Packers and all of that under Holmgren and that tree. So there's like a lot of these guys that all like split off and branched out from the Bill Walsh tree that you see in multiple teams that you still see literally to this day. Mike Shanahan with the Washington Redskins with his son Kyle, and then obviously the Rams, McVay, and the Packers current coach, and there's like multiple guys that were part of that Washington staff, which is just like the tree just keeps branching and branching out. Hey, we've got 3 wide, 4 wide trips. We've got something interesting here with this Shanahan book. Okay. Nothing here. Okay. We've got the 2 tight end, but the 2 wide receiver. We've got gun 5 wide only. Okay. What are the plays? The same cross-up that we had. Some of the plays that we were talking about before. These are more interesting looking, at least on paper. The Denver book doesn't look so bad. The double ends. That's the other thing you also to consider. Texans. How can I say this? Alex Gibbs, rest in peace, was like a Chargers or something offensive line coach, but eventually got the job with Denver. And he wrote in one of his articles, and he's also talked about it in videos, obviously before he passed, he talked about he was inspired by the Bills and the Bengals, their running game scheme that they were putting together, and he wanted to systemize it. And he basically systemized and built rules for what would now be considered the zone run scheme. So while he was inspired by other teams, he's the one considered that invented the zone run scheme with Denver. And that Mike Shanahan put him in charge. So Alex Gibbs doesn't like run the whole offense. But Alex Gibbs later, I guess, got the job with Atlanta. And that's, I think, where he's working right now when this game is happening with Warwick Dunn, Michael Vick, and all of them, is he's working with Atlanta. And a few years later, he would go to the Texans. In part and parcel, because the Texans have a terrible offensive line, and they were hired like, hey, can we do a better job in the future? And they end up getting like Arian Foster and all them, and they end up running zone run schemes and all that. And they have their connections with Kubiak and all of that. And Kubiak is former Broncos and all of that. And it's like there's a lot of like that zone and like West Coast kind of theme that happened to the Texans, which I think is all interesting, right? So there's an aspect here of having the Shanahan playbook has grounds in reality of being the Texans playbook, because in some ways it kind of would become the Texans playbook, if that makes any sense, in a lot of ways. Now, whether they're actually representing it in the video game is another issue. But it's definitely interesting. I want to take a look at some other features, but I think grabbing that Shanahan style is not a terrible idea. And it's also worth looking at what Atlanta has, because again, the Texans would hire Gibbs from the Falcons to implement some aspects as well. So, not that we're like trying to be the Dan Reeves offense, but just there's some branching paths that are kind of interesting to consider. Can you make custom playbooks? Oh yeah, you totally can. You totally can. And let me see if I can actually open it up. I know I can't show you on my computer right this second. I have to like make some adjustments, but I should have documents. Documents football or documents video games? Let's go Madden. And there is what? Manifesto, guide. Yeah, okay, found it. Great, I'll show you. Once it can load up, yes. Great, found it. Let's go to sources, display capture, here. This is the Monstrous Madden Playbook. And for John Madden NFL 2003 and Madden NFL 2004. So when 2004 came out, but Matt here worked on this thing for Madden 03 and all of that. And you go to it, and he's got his whole thing about, like, if you want to look it up, you should be able to find to this day the Monstrous Madden Playbook, Offense Volume 1. Can I actually go to view my channel, go to posts? Is it possible to do a file? There's images and stuff, but no. And I think YouTube like gets mad at me if I send you a link outside. There's like things about like affiliate links, but let's see if I can find it. Monstrous Madden Playbook. PDF. The Monsters Den. Yep. Okay. Copy. Link. And then where can I give him full credit? If we do that, and we go here, and we say here, and here, and here, and here, and where else is his stuff? Can I get just a full copy here? Can I just, yeah, like that? And here, 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 post. So hopefully you should be able to access that through my channel and all of that. That'd be interesting. Okay, and then they're talking about his diamond wing formation, tsunami formation, 3-gun. Like, he's got all this stuff. And this is all the offense stuff, right? He had like a whole defensive section. And I don't know where that is. Offensive playbook, balanced power sweep, all of that. All formations, does he have as a PDF? Yeah, he's got his images. There's the whole playbook unlocked. The philosophy. Yeah, he doesn't have it as a document to download. But yes, you can create your own plays. You can do all of that. So I think that's incredibly interesting. And I hope that helps you and everyone else. I hope you find that useful. But yeah, you can do all that stuff. Do I really want to dig in and do that? I kind of like staying within the framework of the video game. And by that, I mean, like, at least plays the computer can call, as opposed to just exploiting stuff. Because his plays, especially I remember on defense, hey, great. I appreciate it, Patrick. I'm glad that it's useful for you. Is, you're playing against other people? Like, hey, all's fair in love and war, baby. But do I really need to do all of that to beat the computer? No. Is there fun? Yeah, it's also fun. So all that stuff is there. What I really loved though were the defensive playbooks. I thought those were just so fun, interesting, and incredible, and they really like blew people away when I used my GameCube memory card, and we played games against other people. It's like, what is this bullshit? It's like, yeah. So let's see here, and then we can still use 3 wide. I like that. I think I'm gonna like the Shanahan and potentially the Atlanta playbooks. I think those are going to be interesting. Were we just looking at the Atlanta playbook, I think, and then I quit because I thought we were in the Broncos playbook. Yeah, let's look a little bit closer at the Atlanta book. Yeah. That's what it was. Is my buddy, like my neighbors, like were all like Madden fans everywhere around me. Like left of my house, right of my house, across the street from my house, all that. And it's like the buddy across the street had the Dreamcast, and then the buddies to my left side of my house, they had the PlayStation 2 version of the game. And then like I would later get my Xbox and all that, and you don't really have the memory card on the Xbox. But it was like they're like, "Hey, you want to play some Madden?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And like I ended up like beating them with like normal plays. And I don't remember what like we were talking smack, but it was something like, "Guys, like if I brought my custom plays, I would smoke y'all." And they're like, "What are you talking about? Oh, come on." And then like I brought over my GameCube with my extra controllers, with my memory card, all that stuff. We set it up, like we set up their profile there with what they like and all their stuff. I busted out those plays. Bro, it was like 56 or whatever. Like it was like crazy scores. It was just like bleeding them out. Like they were turning the ball over to my crazy defenses, just putting points up all the time. And they're just like, "What the fuck?" And I give all the credit. Like I've known that website literally since that came out. And I give them all the credit in the world. It's like they're not my inventions. But my God, it was so crazy and fun. Just the confusion alone. Alright, what do we have here? I think we just have some good plays. I don't know if we're ready to play a full-on franchise yet. I mean, I know we're not because I'm still messing with rosters. But I think we're ready to go to that next stage, right? I love the laughing faces, emojis. Let's go Titans, just to keep it interesting and not just be Colts as an opponent. Texans, and all we have is just the regular uniforms. Don't expect us to play a full game because it's already past midnight. I love the intros, but I want to skip through it and just get to the game. See, there's Tony Banks. I gave him the bald head. I might need to change Jamie Sharper's hair because I don't think he's supposed to have close crop. But let's do it to it. Not that we're specifically need to be Atlanta, but I like these ideas. There's Glenn. Okay, didn't quite get back to the 20. Alright, let's go like this. And I like halfback off tackle. We haven't adjusted any audibles. Gets the edge. Okay. Do we have anything that sends them to that side? No. Yes, like that. Okay. Off tackle. Okay. Third and manageable. So remember, X was getting open, but that doesn't mean we have to force it to him. They're looking like they're showing us a cover one action or a potential zone as the pre-snap. Let's see how it goes. How is that fourth down? Also, it was like clearly zone. So we stepped back, we fired it before they could collide into each other and make a mistake. He's catching it past the first down marker, but he doesn't own control of the ball until it's short of the first down marker, I'm assuming. We're just going to assume that they placed the ball correctly, because especially how the video game is. And with that, we're going to do running back direct snap. Let's go! Okay, just stay over there. Just plunge your way up the field. Okay, you're not going to respect it. That's fine. Just move them chains, baby.
Only one man in the backfield. Lewis goes in motion.
Let's go. 2 broken tackles, and we still couldn't get enough blocks to reward him, huh?
Center. Man in motion.
Nothing. Absolutely no help whatsoever. Helmets on helmets getting collapsed. Baselli gets the guy. I mean, that's Javon Curse against Baselli. That's a battle for sure. But collapsed. Yeah. Okay.
Ball on their own 42.
I doubt Gaffney's going to get open.
One man in the
Probably going to A to Miller. We're probably checking the safeties. X or B alerts with going to A as the check down.
They'll go with a pass. Passes it. And they're able to connect on
Yep.
that. He was stopped short of the first down marker on that catch.
You know, I don't know why you call a play that doesn't take your receiver past that first down marker.
Fourth down and less than a yard. Ball on the 49.
We do not have the offensive line to go up against this Albert Hainsworth and all that kind of defense. But it doesn't matter!
Brings him down at the 44. He finds some room up the middle and gets the first.
That's some good stuff right there. You give it to your back, have him pull straight ahead for good yardage, and you get a new set of downs to work with.
So they're almost within their kicker's range.
Good, good, good. I just read that, Patrick, about Miller.
Four-man front this time. The Texans using motion. He gets the count.
Just chugging through. Just chugging through.
Up running like this, he could have a 100-yard game.
It's second down and 3 to go.
Not going to respect us at 3 wide.
The Texans line up with 3 wide receivers.
We don't even have audibles yet.
Looking downfield. Morris makes the stop at the 34. Banks trying to pick up some yardage on his own on that play.
The defense held their positions and didn't let him get very far.
Here's double hitch. This is where I say the out-breaking routes
It's first and
on those curls.
ball on the 34-yard line.
And this is where I keep saying we need to have run plays that we're happy with. Like, why is punt an option? So let's get classic slash. Plunge could be, cutback could be. I think at the very least we're going to want those. We're going to want that. And that. Maybe actually here. You got counter weak. We don't really have a strong, like, quality run. Inside gut counter. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to go out there and get the first. I don't care if Aaron'sworth is going to hit you. So, I have a memory. I don't know if this was real life or the Madden video game where this happened. But I remember John Ritchie getting a first down. And John Ritchie is the fullback of the Raiders. And I don't remember if I was watching a real-life Raiders game and John Madden said this, or it was like Madden 03 or whatever, and it's like an audio. But either way, I've heard this, where John Madden said, John Ritchie is one of those guys that when you need 2 yards, wham, he's going to go and get you 2 yards. And if you need 4 yards, wham, he's going to get you 2 yards. And I fucking love that.
And we go back to the game. Allen, the lone back, calling an audible now.
Wow, it actually applied right now in the moment? That's crazy.
Using motion.
Oh, it means we're going to have an extra blocker out here. Get set. Doesn't matter. I had to cut it back. They just get an unblocked guy right through. I don't know what's going on. It's the way the double team is supposed to be, and then we want to follow the double team. So we got basically an unblocked player here. So that sucks. We got two double teams, center and guard, and then tackle and guard. Okay, so he wants to block that guy, but like they're just all confused. There's a guy that we don't even care about blocking, and then we don't get him blocked at all. Okay, that's a mess. Don't like it. We got the counter as a default play. Let's do the lead. Oh, now they super want to stop the run. Look at them. They're all creeping up.
He's looking upfield, looking for blockers. Morris stops him at the 29-yard line, and he picks up about 4.
Wow, we actually have far and all that as a play? Ooh, that's interesting. Double swing.
It's 3rd down and 5 to go. Ball on the 29-yard line.
And just swing it out to Wells as we check Lewis, right? And beat Bradford just pass lead down.
He's going to throw. He goes to the left side.
How do you miss that? I mean, I know how you miss it. You've got like 70-something accuracy. But it's just a casual little like, okay, we're just going to swing it out here just like I wanted. They just dropped back into zone. They just peeled back. Like, he was just peeling back. Nice little tap it, throw it out to Wells, the rookie. Just toss him the football. A nice little easy catch. Help him move the chains. Get him some momentum. Make him feel like a good young player. Get some experience. Go out there playing in the NFL. Do whatever. And then you just miss him like that? You just miss him? All that work that we put in. Those 2 4th downs that we converted. And then you just miss him? Come on, Tony.
Comes into the game to try the field goal.
Ready?
It's on its way.
Okay, you ready? Great.
Sails through. It's good.
All right, let's get some defense. Wife wants me to go to bed. Let's play some defense. Maybe one more offensive drive. Also respect that she wants us to go to bed.
Toward the end zone. The returner takes the ball and heads up the field.
Said Tony's shoulder was hurting from that hit from the first. Yeah, you know. Maybe not. I mean, maybe not disagreeing there, you know. Could be the storyline reason. Let's go man lock.
It's 1st and 10.
Kick him over. Leave the defensive line as it is.
Using motion.
Okay, now we're going to shift.
Looking to the middle. White
Let's go. Frank Wycheck, rest in peace. McNair, rest in peace.
Into a crowd like that.
Okay, now we're going to go with QB man spy. But we're going to flip it. No, we're going to keep it as it is. No, we're going to flip it.
2nd down and 10 to go.
Because Walker needs to go here. They need to go like that. They need to align like that.
Camella moves and
Now we'll move.
looking for blockers.
Let's go.
Long records the tackles at the 30. Gain of 2.
All right, they're spreading it all out. Let's go 4 defensive line with the linebacker blitz.
3rd down and long coming up here. With 2 extra defensive backs, the defense is in the dime. George, the man in motion. Back to pass. Throws it out over to the left.
Okay.
Finds the
Let's go. A fumble. Let's go.
live ball.
Let's go.
In today's game, the defenders are almost always
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a fumble.
And after conversing with his coaches upstairs, he decides
1, 2 feet.
I think that's the right thing to do.
I think he punched it out. I think Glenn punched it. They might not call it, but that's a punch. And I don't see any knees down. I think that's live. Let's go. Let's go. How about that?
clearly the coach thought it could have been reversed, but it didn't turn out.
in the field. It didn't get overturned, but the coach has to feel bad.
Look, we have counter. What are you countering? What play are you pretending you're running the counter for?
39-yard line. Banks with a man in motion. Throwing an over. Number 7.
Wow, I didn't mean to literally just go left and right. I meant to, like... How can I explain this? Yeah, I'm going left, but I didn't mean to go, like sideways. I just meant to have an angle cut. It was my goal to turn and then start running this way. But apparently, I didn't use my controller correctly, and I went completely like this, sideways, instead of up to the right and that way. But playing without sprint gives you a lot of agility and change of direction. The linebacker cuts inside. We run around him. He just has so much mobility here. I want to see Sermon. Like, obviously, we have like crazy mobility too. Like, he just feels like he's got a lot more mobility than the ratings suggest. Look at him also, like, hit one spot, flow this way, and then he's able to get us and close it up.
Let's get back to the play on the
Not complaining. That's just, like, I think some players pop in ways that maybe we don't give them credit for. 2nd and 11. I don't want to throw an incomplete pass on 2nd and 11, folks.
We're just about in field goal range. Banks sends a man in motion. Looking to turn it upfield. Loses one tackle.
Let's go. Allen is just carrying it.
They keep pounding the run like this, and the other team is going to have to ask for some extra oxygen on the sideline.
All curls I don't like. I don't want to just call... This version of flats I did not call. I called a flats play.
Ball on the 33-yard line.
We can alert B. We're looking at the safety. So here's what's going on. The strong safety on the right-hand side, we're trying to alert. If we get one-on-one coverage, we might consider just pressing lob pass lead down. We might just take a shot here. Depending on how they drop back, if they look like they're going into a true cover 1, we might actually just go back to X with pass lead down. And if they're dropping into like a whole bunch of zones, we might just flare it out to the sidelines.
Back to the field. He's looking to pass. Passes it short. Batted down.
This one was batted.
And we're back.
Okay. Yeah, the way they peeled, I'm like, my alert is gone. Like, okay, there's no alert. Like, that quickly. We're like on our first step, and I'm ready. Okay, no. As they drop back, yes, I can try to hit this, but you can even see he's going to jump it. So I think I was right to turn that down. I think I was right to turn this down. I think I was right, like pre-snap. I said if they're dropping into all zones, we're going to swing it out. I think it was the right choice to swing it out. Maybe he didn't have the throwing power, but also this dude is like flying to the spot, huh? This dude, like, he's popping off the page, man. He's popping off the page to get that play stopped. Right? I don't know if the fullback would have been a better choice. Like, maybe.
Back to the game.
But he's popping off the page. I don't want punt. I don't care. We just get the points. Why is punt the default play? Like, F you. I don't need my timeouts. We're not going to play a full 60-minute game or, like, the halftime. But
Comes into the game to try the field goal.
there's 2 times we tried to hit the flares, and we missed one, and then they got deflected on the other.
He gets off the long field goal try.
But points, baby, points.
Good.
Lance Schulters, the former 49er out there, huh?
sends it off. Number 86 will bring this one upfield.
This is where you want to respond quickly, or this could turn into a battle for field position.
86 looks like a wide receiver, right? Yeah, McCarron's. That means they're looking at a 3 wide receiver formation.
And welcome back.
Okay, so we're going to want to match that with nickel. 86 is in the game. So man lock, man coverage down, which is press, man coverage right. Kick the linebackers, pinch the defensive line. Boy, goodness, we could not get off blocks here, huh?
And he steps out of bounds.
Pinch the line because we want to stop anything inside, right? Clog up A-gaps and all of that. We're kicking out, so we should have leverage over Frank Wycheck and mobility. So why does this play fail so badly? Like, 4 of the 5 offensive linemen, except for the center, everyone's man on man. And the center is basically removed. So they're basically... The center doesn't exist. And we've got our guy. Wycheck, rest in peace. He beats our guy to the edge. Even though Wong has the positioning, he drops back and then lets Frank Wycheck get the edge over him. And then the blocking... Yeah, obviously he's going to play as though it's a play action or something, I guess. It could even be a halfback pass, so he's like bailing. But then that lets him block the linebacker who was otherwise unblocked. So it's like taking out 2 defenders at the same time. Aaron Glenn cannot get off of Kevin Dyson. Kevin Dyson's a fantastic player. And then Eddie George, like, at that point, Eddie George just does Eddie George things, right? Spin a guy, break a tackle, keep grinding, spinning, fighting.
And we go back to the game. First and 10. Searching for a seam. Holdridge makes the play at the 49. Gain of 7. Second down, 2 to go. Ball on their own 49. He's looking to pass. Stepping up, looking for an option. Passing to his
Oh, come on, defend it!
the 30.
Are you kidding me?
22 yards.
Coleman, are you kidding me? Like, tackle him instead of running with him? In several ways, I'm glad that I actually asked to spy McNair here, huh? Sharper is like, okay, like, you want to take off and run? Like, I've got the spy, and then even the quarterback was just like, okay, maybe we're not going to take off and run.
Let's pick up the action.
God, but come on. Play some D, bro.
So we have first and 10 here. Nickelback in this time. He's going to throw. Passes it. Hits the target with the pass.
Okay.
About 8.
We're entering Tampa 2 Buck territory inside the red zone area.
Sides, and we'll start the second quarter.
I'm not saying it's going to be the best, but we'll see how we deal with Tampa 2 now.
Down inside the 15.
With tight and short zones.
George, the lone setback. Looking to turn it upfield. He's looking upfield. He shakes the defender. There's a flag on the play.
Okay.
The Titans move backwards.
Hard for
Now
the
we're
offense
out
to
of that
get the ball
space.
downfield when they keep making mistakes like that.
Wycheck to the right. Okay, so the strength of the team is just like expected.
Drops back. McNair. Throw. He hits his
You got all those defenders and you let Whitecheck get open. Rest in peace, Whitecheck. One of my favorite guys. Good route run. Just, I don't know what kind of coverage they were trying to have right here. Like, we're just covering nothing and we're just whipping around doing nothing. Completely lost. Two guys just standing around covering nothing. While Whitecheck, like, they just spread out all over the field. All of these defenders and no one actually covering the player running down the field.
Back to the action on the field.
Okay. Let's go with Thunder.
First down and goal to go. 7 yards to the goal line. And this is the 5th play of this drive. He's going to throw. He surveys the field. He finds his man.
Okay.
Flings it into the end zone for the touchdown.
Receiver had to make that catch. Heck, they hit him right between the numbers.
Well played by... Is this like a year away from his actual MVP season? Didn't he and Manning have co-MVPs in 2003 the next year, like the Madden 04 version? Not to say we didn't put pressure on him. I felt that they had to earn every bit of that and use the talent of Eddie George and the talent of McNair to get down that field. The talent of Whitecheck and just such a great team. Dyson, I think, is talented. Mason is talented. Like, everyone in the NFL is talented, but you know what I mean. Like, these are like some top guys. Let's go!
Out onto the field after picking up a field goal on their last drive.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the lack of strong side running out of this playbook. That's for sure.
Thanks. Under center. Man in motion. Looking to turn it upfield. And he's brought down at the 40-yard line.
Get the clock running. Yeah, the strong eye normal does not have enough power running for my personal tastes.
9 yards to go. Dropping back with the throw, and the catch is made. And he goes out at the 47-yard line. He had time to go through his progressions and find the open man.
This guy has great confidence in his arm. He knows that he can make the completion regardless of the coverage.
About a yard to go. Ball on their own 47. He tucks it away. And he's brought down at the 49. He gets just barely enough for the first down.
Here's a situation where you square your shoulders and you get what you need for the first down.
Ball at about midfield. Calling an audible. Breaks free.
Come on. I know that's Javon Curse. I'm not complaining about that, but God, what do? You just stop blocking and then you don't block and...
We'll go back to the play on the field.
Welcome to Texans football, baby.
Ball at about midfield. Four linemen and 3 linebackers lined up defensively. He's going to throw. Banks passes it right.
Oh, finally.
Morris stopped him for his 3rd tackle so far. He had a quick release on that pass.
And when you talk about precision passing, that's what you mean.
They're just about in field field goal range. Nickelback in this time. Looking downfield. Looking for an option. Throwing. And they're able to connect.
See, all that time we put in practice knowing that X gets open
Heck of a throw.
instead of just forcing something.
Pass, then boom, it was gone.
It's 1st and 10. Thanks. Sets up. Changing the play now. Looking for blockers. He can't wrap him up. Morris takes him down at the 29-yard line. He wraps him up and now has 4 tackles. It's 2nd down and 5 to go. Ball on the 29-yard line. The quarterback gets set with only one back behind him. Banks with a man in motion. Dropping back. He surveys the field. Setting up. Curse. Gets in.
I didn't like anything there. I didn't like anything there. Really wanted a run play. Baselli just getting thrown on his keister. Like, there might have been that throw, which I put in motion for a reason. But it's like there's nothing breaking middle. There's nothing breaking anywhere. And it's just like, okay, can we just get protection inside and minimize how poorly this is going?
They need 6. Nickelback in this time. Quick drop. Banks passing to the right. Morris makes the stop. He was stopped short of the marker and can't convert.
You know, when it's 3rd and so many yards, why the heck would you run a pass pattern that was short in the 1st? Makes no sense to me.
4th and maybe 1.
Tony Baselli, can you get some revenge on Curse? Well, you got a revenge on Curse. You did. He threw him on the ground. Meanwhile, everyone else forgot to block. 46. You got this? No? No? Because that block was gross. Like, you're kidding me. Like, oh, you went for it. Like, can you block the fucker in front of you? Can you attempt to lay a fucking block? Can you get blown up but attempt to block?
So they have 1st and 10 here. Ball on their own 27. Can't bring him down. Walker with the stop at the 31. Penalty marker down in the field. He grabbed him on that play.
If the defensive guys get a good jump, sometimes the only thing you can do to protect the quarterback is grab hold of somebody's jersey.
The Titans holding on by less than a field goal. Spin around.
There we go.
Pulls him down at the 16-yard line. And that tackle gives him 3 in the game. It's 2nd down and a long way to go. McNair under center. He's going to throw. Passes it. And the catch is made. And he stopped at the 19. He made a quick read and got rid of it in a hurry.
The quarterback delivered that pass right on the mark. There's no defense for a perfect pass.
So they dug themselves into a hole here, a long 3rd down situation. Ball on their own 19. Dropping back. Steps up into the pocket.
Check down.
Was stopped short.
Now that's something you just can't have happen. When you run a play that's not designed to take it past the first down marker, you should have just punted it away on third down.
Lewis will be looking to give his team good field position here. And he waves for the fair catch. It's 1st and 10. He's looking upfield. And fumble.
Great fumble. Thanks. Great.
Grabbed the live ball. Kurtz did a great job.
Thanks.
That ball is just as much a target as the ball carrier. And you have to remember that when you're getting tackled.
So they have 1st and 10 here. Searching for a seam. Looking to turn it upfield. And he's tackled at the 38-yard line. Gain of 3. They need 7. Ball on the 38-yard line. McNair gets set. Dyson in motion. Stepping up. He
Let's go. Get the pressure. Let's go.
defense dropping the quarterback.
He got there and boom. He made himself a quarterback pancake.
3rd and long. Dimebacks into this play. Stepping up, throws it. Great catch.
God.
At the 7-yard
Golly.
line.
What a play.
They're inside the 20. Nickelback in this time, using motion. He's looking, throwing. Great catch. Long makes the tackle at the 6. So that tackle now gives him 1st down and goal to go. About 3 for the touchdown. 4 linemen and 3 linebackers lined up defensively. With the carry.
Good job. Good job. This is a good football game. We do not have an elite defense, not hardly. They have many weapons for an elite quarterback and an elite running back. You gotta remember, this is 2002. They're like 3 years shy of a Super Bowl team with many, not all, but many of the same players and even some improvements. With Albert Hainsworth and Javon Curse and stuff, like they're actual some improvements to the team.
Kicks it off. And he'll return it. The Texans take over on offense at the 31. First and 10. Ball on their own 31. 4 linemen and 3 linebackers lined up defensively. Flips the tackle. And it looks like they'll mark it at the 33. Second and 8 coming up here. Calling an audible. Almost at the 2-minute mark now. And we've reached the 2-minute mark. 8 to go. Ball on their own 33. go from the I formation. Godfrey stopped him for his third.
Kick out, flow, block, block.
And we're back. They need 7. Thanks. Sets up. He's going to throw. Throwing. And his pass is complete. Number 59 stops him at the 46. The quarterback showed you his great arm on that pass.
Not only does this guy have a strong arm, but his quick release makes him very tough to sack.
It's 1st and 10. Ball on their own 46. 4-man front this time. Drops back. Throws it out over to the left.
This is my bad on the controller. I'm trying to pass lead down, but I end up pressing down before the pass, which causes him to fall back instead of throw the ball in the correct pass lead. That's on me on the controller.
They'll need a good pickup here to make their way
Like
over the
you do, my left hand is doing things later than or earlier than I want to.
So it's 2nd and 10.
I need to throw the pass and then press down.
Thanks. With 3 wide receivers. Dropping back. Surveying the field. Tosses it right.
He doesn't jump for it. That's interesting.
And welcome back.
He didn't try to moss. Usually if you pass the lead down lob, he tries to moss it up.
3rd and long. Let's see what play they choose to keep this drive going. And they'll face a long 3rd down here. Ball on their own 46. Thanks. Under center. The Texans using motion. He's going to throw. Stepping up. Gets rid of it.
Like that.
Complete. He's at the 40. The quarterback
Now I executed it properly.
on that pass.
This guy can really move. He turns things up 2 or 3 notches when it really counts. That's the kind of thing you love to see as a coach. Guys who have that 2nd and 3rd gear.
An effective 2-minute drill will give them the opportunity to put some points on the board before the half. Dropping back. Surveying the field. Rolling right. Passes it short. That is down.
I thought I was going to throw it over his head. As he started, I mean, yeah, I should have just thrown it here. The panic and then the read, like, really, like, looking off one player, seeing the gap here. But I really thought I was going to toss it over this guy's head to the 30-yard line. And catch it, like, here. Catch it here with a blocker in front of me. That was the thought process.
There's only one way that they're going to be able to do something about this score. Keep throwing and getting out of bounds.
2nd and 10. Ball on the 40-yard
Field goal range is enough with 2 timeouts.
He's going to throw. He surveys the field. Passing right. And he finds the open man. He rifled it out there.
That guy's always had a great arm. That's something you can't teach.
Try to make the most of this red zone opportunity to add some points before we reach the half. They're inside the 15.
That's not what I wanted to call.
Calling an audible.
I'll take the delay of game. I don't want to burn a timeout. That's not at all what I thought I was calling. I pushed the wrong button? Thought I pressed the X button here. Apparently I pressed the A button.
Every team talks about how they need to get points when they're in the red zone.
Whatever, that gives me a little bit more space.
We'll see a confident group going into the locker
Might be able to hit B, but I'm looking to hit A.
Looking to pass. Steps up into the pocket. Throws it out over to the left. It was tipped.
I really thought they were going to follow. I was really expecting to follow and then get the cut. And he fell back. And he still almost got it. Okay. Okay.
I'm sure they'll have one of their receivers running near the sideline. And if they go to him, he's got to look upfield because he might be able to take it in for a score. But the defense thinks he's just going to run out of bounds.
We can quickly read B if we can get underneath the safety. But otherwise, we're probably looking at A.
Looking downfield.
Yep.
Throwing.
Yeah. And it probably would have been a lot smoother if I actually was softer on the controls. I just knew that they were in our face. And I saw the safety come down. I'm like, we don't even have to beat the safety. We're just one-on-one. We're going to undercut him. I wanted to stand in the pocket firm and then passively down, like to underthrow. Or not underthrow, but throw underneath the end breaker. And I could have executed that even better. Let's burn the timeout and try to tie it. There's nothing there, man. I don't really like this route. Like, what is this? Why don't you just flare out to the flats? Why don't you just flare out to the flats? And this is not a quick... Like, the art shows, like, he's, like, curling here, and it's, like, he's curling here. And he's just like, okay, apparently it's not the play that's really drawn up very well, is it? And in the meantime... We're also getting instant pressure. Like, instant pressure off the edge. Off this guy that's popping off the page all game. So that's already like, okay, I guess we're going to have to buy time. And then this just also shows how weak this play is. That, like, we're just clustering everyone in the same spot of the field. Is that my go-to 2-point play? It doesn't matter if I got the 2 points or the 3 points. That was fun, ladies and gentlemen. It's just gentlemen here, but you know what I mean. Liking it. Liking the roster. We may use Atlanta. We may use Denver. We may use another playbook. But I had fun. And we're getting another step closer to doing a franchise. So, I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun. And I'll see you next time. Take care.